council members has been taken off the table, so I'm not going to ask that question. The question that I'm going to ask you all is, we are deep in debt at the city, as you all well know. Our $5 increase for Rebuild Houston turned into $50 to over $100 for most of us, and we've yet to see rebuild in our community. What I want to know is, what are you all going to do to help us get out of this crisis as we grow from the 4th to the 3rd largest city?
Did you say that question was for each of the candidates? Okay. Mr. Costello, do you want to start?
Well, I'm trying to get a better understanding tomorrow of your question. Is your question about Rebuild Houston?
No, I'm saying that, even after you paid the extra money for Rebuild Houston and we've seen no results from it, what are you all going to do to get us out of the deficit that the city is in?
Thank you. As your budget chairman, I understand the deficit problem that we're faced with. And the challenges that we have on our deficit have to do primarily through our existing debt model, as well as our pensions that are driving the problem of the city right now. And I've been advocating for pension reform. I went to Austin. I helped draft up a bill for local control because we have to do some slight modifications to our pension systems. I'm not calling for going to a 401k plan. I'm calling for minor modifications to our pension system to honor the commitment that we have to the people that work for the city, as well as honor the commitment that we have to the taxpayer that we're using the money wisely. The problem that we're going to have, if we do not get pension reform, I don't care what these people say up here, they're not going to be able to achieve any of their goals without pension reform, because what we're going to be doing, we're going to be letting people go. We're not going to be providing the public safety that we need to provide. We're not going to be doing the public infrastructure we need to provide unless we get this reform done. Thank you.
I want to tell you that my dear friend Stephen Costello and I are just totally differing on this issue. I'm an independent businessman. My wife and I own 4 businesses. One of them was utterly failing. It was an apartment building. And the reason it was failing is because we only had 1/3 of the apartments rented out. And in order to get the money to operate that rental property, we needed to increase the number of people who occupied and rented inside the building. Right now, the city of Houston, 2/3 of this city is unsustainable. That means 2/3 of this city does not generate enough money to pay for the cost to serve it. The goal is not local control over 11% of the budget. While we do need pension reform, that's not going to solve the chronic problem of financing. We need to invite people and encourage them to come into this city and share the tax burden. I happen to agree with Marty on this one, that we need to incentivize more businesses to come into the city, not penalize city employees. Mr. King,
could we also hear some of your ideas?
So let me get you the numbers. In the last 5 years, property taxes are up 24%. Sales taxes are up 37%. Your water bill is up 46%. And the city's revenue from fees and permits is up 100%. We're collecting $1 billion more in revenue than we were just 5 years ago, and we can't balance a budget? I mean, give me a break. In the last 5 years, wait, I got more for you. Hang on a second here. They're keeping time here. In the last 5 years, we have gone from $16.5 billion in debt to nearly $20 billion in debt. We've incurred $3.3 billion in additional debt in the last 5 years. At the same time, we were collecting $1 billion more per year. Now, that's just bad management. We do not have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem.
We're all Texans, so there's a saying in Texas, if you find yourself in a hole and you want to get out of it, stop digging first, and then we can get out of it. The city's financial position is bad, and I think that during this campaign, during this election cycle, you as the citizens of this city are going to find out just how bad it is. Everything that Bill King just said is accurate on the numbers, but the sky's not falling. We need good management to get ourselves out of this, and we need vision to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and that we're bringing jobs and we're bringing economic development to this city. First thing I'm going to do is get the people out of the way that caused this problem and not get us back in the same situation that we were in we've been in for the last 2 decades.
I would agree with Reverend Ben Hall over here. Now, in order to get out of debt, we have to increase wealth. And the only way we can do that here in this city is creating more home ownership opportunities. And we just do not have enough here. We need tax roll revenue from property taxes to come in. We need more entrepreneurships. Now, better jobs. Now, the better jobs come for the qualified people. However, we need people to come out the poverty income that they're in now. So we just can't continue to talk about better jobs. We have to have solutions to get these better jobs. We have to be skillfully trained as well. So there's 2 ways to reduce debt without me actually looking at the city's financial statement. And just like Mr. Ben Hall said, increase the revenue, home ownership, and entrepreneurship. That is fair economic development, and that is fair welfare for your families.
The city of Houston will face its greatest financial challenges in 2016, 17, and 18. The debt service will spike in 2018. I do agree that we need much better management. And what I would offer to you, for the last 21 of my 26 years, I've been spending on the Appropriations Committee in the Texas Legislature. I am vice chair of the Appropriations Committee since 2003 through to the current moment. I've been the one sitting on the Conference Committee balancing a $200 billion budget. When we faced a $10 billion shortfall in 2003, I was at the table balancing the budget. When we faced a $27 billion shortfall in 2011, I was at the table balancing the budget. You have a revenue cap at the city of Houston. We bumped up against it. I would suggest that we amend that for public safety or paying down the debt. That's critically important. On the debt service, which will spike in 2018, we need to smooth that out. I think of everyone that's on this panel, when it comes to actually balancing a budget, and a huge one, I think I'm the person.
Great, thank you. Would you want to move on to the next question or give Mr. Bell an opportunity to answer that? How would the presidents want to do that? Okay, could you re-ask the question? And Chris, you'll have 1 minute to answer. Welcome to politics, Chris.
Good evening, Chris. It's me. I wanted to know, what would you do to help us get out of the debt that the city is in, to help us so that we can get back into the black instead of in the red?
Well, first of all, let me apologize for being late. I really thank you for allowing me to come a few moments late. First of all, my whole campaign is focused on trying to modernize Houston, and I think when we modernize and when we start taking greater advantage of technology like other cities have done, we're going to identify efficiencies, and we're going to find less expensive ways of doing things and be able to identify waste and cut that waste. And I think that it's incumbent upon us to look for more modern and better ways of doing things. Obviously, we're also going to have to address the pension issues, but as I've made very clear, I don't plan to balance the city's budget on the backs of the men and women who protect us every day. I think there's a better way forward. But I will say this, there are other cities that have faced much bigger financial problems than the city of Houston. They have dealt with them, and we will do the same here in the city of Houston when I'm mayor.
Before